After losing her husband, she counted on support not just from her family and her friends, but her in-laws as well. But that wasn't to be. Shortly after that, she was diagnosed with cancer, and the war with her in-laws raged in earnest. We live out loud with Irene Mutisya, a woman who was outlawed by her in-laws, next. Hello and welcome to Sheila Lives Out Loud. I'm Sheila and I'm thrilled you're on this channel. Please click subscribe, drop us a comment once you've watched this video. And if you see something on this channel that means something to you and you think is going to help somebody else, please share. Oh, one more thing also, hit notifications so you don't miss out on an episode, and we upload every Monday from the waterfront Karen. If you're looking to set up shop or expand your business, or maybe you're just looking for a great day out to experience something good and something different, this is the place to be. And we are living out loud with Irene Mutisya. Irene, hello.
Hello.
It's so wonderful to finally have this opportunity to sit and unpack your life journey because, Mama, it's been quite epic. Sure. Before we get into the stew of it all, just tell us a little bit about who you are.
My name is Irene Mutisya, and I'm a mother of 3. I lost my husband in 2013. I've really gone through a lot, but I've seen the faithfulness of the Lord. So this far, I can say it is God, because it has been tough. But through it all, Jehovah is God.
When I bumped into you, in fact, it was one of your workmates who said, Sheila, this woman's story needs to be told. Yes. And so you've already touched on the genesis of the difficulties in your life. Before we talk about losing your husband, how long had you been married?
I got married to my late husband in the year 2007. So we were married for about 6 to 7 years. Mm-hmm. We were doing well. I had a stepson who was about 4 years when we got married. And then I got my daughter who is 10 and my son who is 6 years old. Mm-hmm. So by the time I lost my husband, my smallest son was 1.5 years. He didn't even know the dad very well. Yeah, so he was at the bar, he was just looking at us when we were crying, but he didn't know what was going through. Mm-hmm. But later on, I told him, because he used to call my dad, because I call my dad Daddy.
Dad. Yeah.
So he used to say my dad is at home up country. Mm. So I told him your dad passed on. So I had to start explaining. I showed him pictures. Now, recently is when he has realized that he looks like the dad. So now he knows that his father passed on.
In talking about your husband and him passing away, what happened?
Okay, he had high blood pressure. Mm. So he had gone to Mombasa. He used to work with the Ministry of Immigration, and he was also a lecturer in the Kenya School of Government. So he had gone to lecture in Mombasa. He left on a Monday. He was supposed to come back on a Thursday. Then now he calls me on Wednesday. He told me he forgot to carry his drugs. So the pressure went high. And then he was admitted at the Coast General Hospital. So on a Friday, someone called me, are you so and so as wife? I said yes. So he told me he's admitted and he has no one to take care. I was on my way to work, so I had to leave. I called my house help and told her I'm going to Mombasa because my husband is ill in the hospital. So when I went there, he was already paralyzed. So I talked to the doctors. They told me that the pressure was very high, yeah, and he had a clot in the brain. So I wanted to bring him back to Nairobi. I took him from Coast General Hospital. We were on our way to Nairobi. Then when we went to Mo International Airport, we were told, I was told that he can't travel because the pressure was very high. So now we went back. He was admitted at the Aga Khan Hospital. The pressure was 200/220. It was very high. And then they tried to control the pressure. It was not possible. So they had to operate on him to remove the clot. But after the operation, he never woke up. Mm. So he stayed in the ICU for about a month. So he never woke up after the operation.
In going through all of that, you've got very young children.
Yes.
And you've got this unfolding in your life. Where were you drawing support from when all of this was happening?
Mostly from my close friends and my colleagues at work. and his colleagues were, because I was in Mombasa and the kids were in Nairobi. But they were with my household for a month. So I got a lot of support from the Kenya School of Government. They gave me a place to stay, and it was really a tough time because now some in-laws started coming to Mombasa, and then they were saying that it is me who wants to kill the brother, I was like, why should I kill my husband? I have small children with him. So it was really tough. They came and they brought so many issues in Mombasa. So now, when he passed on, they wanted me to remain in Mombasa with him. And I had a small baby who was still breastfeeding. So I told them, I can't stay in Mombasa, I have to go back to Nairobi because I have a small child.
Yeah.
So we left him in the morgue. And then I traveled back to Nairobi. But the issue was they wanted to take my stepson because the mother is still alive. So they had organized. So I called the teacher. He was in a boarding school. I called the teacher and I had sent someone. So when they were leaving the school, they were already there with the mother coming to pick the boy. So I took the boy home and then I arrived in the morning. So I was not able to tell him because he was very close to the dad. I had to call some of the friends of my late husband. They're the ones who told him what had happened. So his worry was, who will pay my school fees? That was his first question. So they told him whatever we'll have to do, because he started saying he will go to Starehe Boys Center when he was in class 5. And when the results were out, he was called at Starehe Boys Center, and he was supposed to pay 140,000. And now he was like, Mom, where will you get this money? I told him, Jehovah God is your father, and he will provide.
So here you are, you've just been widowed. You've spent a whole month of trauma from your in-laws, people
Yes.
who really should be assisting you and walking with you and helping you, but they're all about disrupting
Yes.
and really muddying the waters at a very difficult time.
Yeah.
I'm thinking with that bill in ICU for a month, sorting out that bill, did they assist? Did they help you?
No, the employer paid for the bill in hospital. They cleared for everything. They paid even for the transport of the body from Mombasa to Nairobi.
Right.
And then some of the friends, he had very good friends because they told us, just give us a chance to bury our friend. Because most of them said they are where they are because of his encouragement. He was a very supportive man. He was very, as in, he knew how to invest, and he had friends which he'd helped them to invest.
He had good
So
relationships.
in fact, when I was coming from Mombasa, someone called me and asked me, where are you taking Mutua's body? I told him I'm taking him to KU. So he was like, do you know who Mutua is? You either take him to Lee Funeral Home or Rumash. We are going to pay for the bills. So that is what I did. We took him to Rumash, and they told me to tell them the bill. The friends who were just talking on phone. So now they took care of the burial. He was buried like a king. I can say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
After the burial, what happened next?
After the burial, now the mother of my stepson went to court, and she wanted the boy. So my lawyer prepared me, told me, Irene, you have 2 kids, and it is not possible for you to get this child. I told him, you don't know what you're talking about. I have lived with this boy since he was 4 years old. He is now 11 years. He is like my son. I've been treated him all through like my son. So how will I tell these two that this is your stepson? How will they understand a stepson? I've treated them equally all through. So we went to the court, and I was telling him, Isika, his name is Isika. I take you to the house, you tell Mary and Junior goodbye. He told me, Mom, I'm going nowhere. I told him, you know, your lawyer has already told you that it cannot happen. Your father is dead, and your biological mother is very alive. It has never happened. He told me, Mom, I know what I'll go to say inside. So when we went, he told his lawyer now, my lawyer, and the lawyer of the mother, that he wants to talk to the judge alone. So he went inside. We were the first people to be attended.
And how old was he at that time?
He was 11 years old.
Right. And he said he wants to talk to the judge.
Yes.
Wow.
So he went in. He stayed there for like 3 hours, from 7 to 9. So I was just walking around the courtroom. My lawyer was telling me, you sit down. I'm like, you don't know what is going through my mind. This boy is my son. I've taken care of him. I've taught him morals. He is very obedient. He's good in school. Since class 1 up to class 8, he's been topping in the class. And he's like Even my relatives knew him like my own son. So he told me, if this happens, it's a miracle because it has never happened.
Yeah.
So now, after he was through with the judge came inside, we all stood, and then he was told to go outside with me. So I told him, have you been told to tell me goodbye? He said, no. I said what I said. So now we were called inside again. The magistrate said the boy said he's comfortable where he is. He is not going to leave his brother and sister and his mother. And now, the biological mother was ordered by the court to pay school fees up to university.
Wow.
But she refused.
Right.
When we got the results, we called her with our lawyer, and she refused to pay even a penny. She's never visited the boy. He's been in that school for 4 years. She's never been there.
And it's something you have been catering for?
Oh, yes.
And God has just been faithful to you.
Yes.
Now, clearly the drama continues.
Yes, after the burial, okay, we had a plot in Syokimau. We had not built. So I wanted to do a small house. We had like tiles at home because we had done a big house at home. So I wanted to go and pick the tiles and some building materials which are at home. Then now they called me. One of the sisters called me and told me, whatever is in that compound that belongs to you, is that where your husband was buried. And you should never step in that compound again. And they even called my dad and told him that you should tell your daughter she should never step in this. So I was like, my father called them and I told them, my daughter has been married to your brother for the last 7 years. Why are you behaving like you've just seen her? They really stressed me. You know, they would call me one after another. So I told them, okay, if you want me not to go to your home, I will never come back to that compound. So now they were, okay, after I said I will not go, they called me, they lectured me, they could lecture me until I developed some very bad ulcers. I was treated for the ulcers for like 3 to 4 months. Then my doctor told me, Irene, I have given you the best medication. So now we have to go. You have to do an endoscopy. So now that's when we did an endoscopy around December of 2013. And the results were to be out the following month. That was January of 2014. Then now I went for the results. I didn't want even to go for the results. So now the doctor called me. Then I went. Then he was like, he was reading the results. Then he just stood up and told me, Irene, this cannot be happening. So I'm like, what is it? Doctor, no, he's just saying, this cannot be happening. I'm like, what is it? Then he stood up and told me, Irene, you have cancer. I was like, what the hell are you telling me? Yes, you have cancer of the stomach. I could not move. I just sat on the floor. It was, you know, that time, when you have cancer, it is a death sentence. So now, I don't know, I could not even think of what to do next. I just called my workplace and I told them I'm not coming to work, as in, this is too much for me. And I went to the lawyer and I wrote a will. Because now you see what happened to my in-laws, they'd kicked us out. They said, I built a house within like 6 months, but I had not finished. It was called, I started building in around August after the burial of my husband. So now this is January of 2014, I'm told I have cancer. And it was a really tried moment. And I just, because there was nobody, the way my in-laws behaved, I knew there was nobody who can take care of my children. So I went to the lawyer and wrote a will. And he told me, Irene, you know this is a will you're writing. I told him, yes, I am going to die. I have cancer.
Ask you why? Oh, you
yes,
shared
I
with
told
the
him,
lawyer.
I have cancer, I'm going to die. So now, my son was home during that time. I think they had come home for midterm. And then I called him, I told him, Isika, Mom has cancer and I'm going to die. And if I die, you will take care of your brother and your sister, no matter what. You've seen what your aunties have done to us, and we belong to nowhere. It is only the 3 of us. So please, you will take care of these children. And I told him, no matter what happens in your life, never leave your brother and your sister. So now the doctors told me that I have to go for an operation. It was so, I didn't want. So we went to like, there's a friend of mine who is a born-again Christian. She told me, we were praying, because I didn't want to do the operation because I knew I would not wake up. And I had already started like putting my things in order. I told Jessica, these are the title deeds, this is the log
How
book.
old was he by then?
12 years.
It was just about a year after
Yes.
the loss of your husband.
Yes. So now, it happened that after I talked to him, he went he was in now class 8. Now the teachers called me and told me that Isika has been crying a lot. He's saying that even when he saw like he had a dream when the father was about to die, and now he has had the same dream, and now I'm sick, and he saw that I'm dying. So I had to go to school. I talked to him. I told him, even if I will die, God says he's a father to the fatherless and he's a mother to the fatherless. He will never leave you nor forsake you, so just have courage. So we prayed with that lady. Her name is Beatrice Kala. She's like my spiritual mother. So I was telling her I'm fearing the operation because I was told it will take like 6 hours. So they had to remove the whole of my stomach. They had to do total gastrectomy because the doctor told me cancer of the stomach spreads like fire.
Very fast.
Yes. So we prayed, and then the last day, she told me, Irene, I got a breakthrough. I also told her the same. I got a breakthrough. And now I went for the operation. So I took my children. And it was...
Was this just before you went into the operation? What did you do? Were they at the hospital with you, or did you say goodbye to them in the house?
My mom came. Now she was staying with them. And we had to move from where we were staying because of my in-laws. They would just bump in any time. Yeah. So we had to move, and then my mom came to stay with the children. Yeah. So now I told them...
When you were going to the hospital, did they come with you to the hospital, or you left them in the house?
Yes, I left them.
What did you say to them?
I told them, in fact, before that night, Isika was home because there's a movie that we were watching, and it was about 2 children and their mother, and then it happened, she was diagnosed with cancer. And they prayed, and there were only 2. They prayed, and then they were told, the mother went, and she came back. So now my daughter, Mary, was 6 years. She told me, Mom, but this woman has come back, so Mom, you'll come back. So it was a very great encouragement for my daughter. Right. So I said, oh, really? By the way, the way you can just be watching something and you're not aware that you're watching, and we're just seeing this woman has gone to the hospital. These children, one was 7 years, another was 5, and they were taking care. They were just the 2 of them. Yeah. So the mother came back. So Mary told me, Mom, this one has come back, so you'll come back. I was very encouraged by Mary. So I said, by the way, this woman had cancer and she has survived. So I told them, Mary the small baby didn't know what was happening. It was now 2 years. Yeah. So Mary knew about cancer and cancer kills. Also, Mary knew that the father died. At least she knew because she was crying a lot in the burial. So now Mary, I told me, Mom, you will go and you'll come. You'll come back. So I went. The operation told, okay, after I woke up, that is when the doctor told me there were some complications, and it took like 7 hours. And then I woke up, I was taken to the ICU, then HTU, then to the ward. So now I was awake. Okay, I was like pushing my legs. Oh, okay.
So you're still here, exactly, wiggling your toes and just knowing that you're still here. That must have given you a lot of comfort and a lot of strength as well.
Yes, because now I said I have overcome this. And now I was asking the doctor, so I don't have any cancer anymore. Now she told me it's a process.
It's a process before they can give you the all clear.
Yes, so after this we had to do the radiotherapy, and then I will be checked. Like she told me, you have to be declared cancer-free after 5 years.
Yeah, it takes 5 years.
Yes,
exactly.
now
and every year you've got a series of checkups that you have to go through.
So I've been doing them, and now during all this, none of my relatives, my in-laws, they've never visited me in hospital. They never even visited the children, and it's only my mom, my sisters, and my brother who have been like they're the people and the church. They've really stood with me all through this. 2014, I was admitted like 3 to 4 times. Yeah, because I didn't know, I've learned a lot of things because of this sickness. I didn't have, when they removed the stomach, vitamin B12 is absorbed in the stomach, and then I started feeling dizzy. So now the doctor said, because you do have a stomach and vitamin B12 is absorbed in the stomach, so we needed to be giving you an injection of vitamin B12. So I was given blood like thrice. So it's something that I've learned to live with it.
It's now part and parcel of your life,
Yes.
because once they took the stomach out, there are also consequences to that.
Yes.
And of course, there's somebody who's watching and thinking, so if you don't have a stomach, do you eat? How do you eat? What's happening here? What do the doctors do on the inside?
Okay, they joined the esophagus and the small intestine. So I eat small portions. And
But
I
very
don't,
frequently
I don't
across
feel
the
hungry.
day.
So when I get weak, that's when I know,
That you've not eaten.
I've not eaten.
So you never get the hunger
No.
pangs. You could probably spend a whole day.
Yes.
And
So-
not even know.
Yes. And then after the operation, I didn't know so much because I love tea. Then I would just take tea, I would diarrhea and vomit.
Yeah.
So now I went back to the doctor. I'm like, I can't take tea. Yes, because tea has, milk has lactose, and lactose is digested in the stomach, and you don't have a stomach.
Have it, so it's coming into your bowels with fire.
Yes, it has to come out.
Right.
So now I have to take like soy milk. Sometimes it's so expensive. A liter is like 248.
It's not
and
cheap,
then
exactly.
I love tea, so I would just buy tea, a liter, and then I would just be taking like black tea.
it for as long as you can.
Yes.
Right.
So I've been taking like small portions, and then fruits. So I can't take anything with milk, yogurt,
You have to say
everything
goodbye to all of that.
Yes.
But just knowing what you've gone through, if you could face your in-laws today, what would you say to them?
You know, it took I joined a church, International Christian Center in Mara, and there's a book before you join the church you go through. It's called Connecting to God and Connecting with Others, and it talks about forgiveness. So we were talking about that chapter, and I was asking our pastor, David Mwaniki is a deacon there. I was asking him, should I really forgive these people who have really treated me this bad? You know, I had so much, I had carried them. I was so bitter with them because most of them, my husband educated their children. He used to help them. And here they are the children. You know, they told me we are not bloodly related. I told them, when you came to my village, when you came to pay dowry, did you see this? My children are very light. Did you see these surahs in our place? They told me we are not bloodly related. I'm like, these are your children. You're telling me you're not bloodly related. What have I done to you? Even if, because there is one I met, I stopped the car and I said, okay, don't say hi to me. Then say hi to these children. These are your nieces and nephews. What have they done to you? So it really took the hand of God for me to forgive them. Because I was so bitter. I've done nothing wrong. They just ate me for no apparent reason. I'm taking care of these children and I'm sick. I was like, what? There's a time I almost committed suicide because I said I had planned to take a pillow because Mary was 5 years and Junior was 3. And I used to sleep with them in my bed. When my husband died, they moved to my bedroom. So I said, now this is too much. What have I done to these people? I said, I'm just going to, I bought a rat I wanted to take. I drink it and then I just kill them because I knew at least Isika can go to the biological mother. But these two, when I'm gone, they'll
No
have...
one will take care of them.
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
It was a tough time for you.
Yes.
But forgiveness is something that is now the natural thing for you.
Yes.
If they were here right now, sitting and watching, you would say you forgive them.
Yes, I have forgiven them completely. I have nothing against them. I have forgiven them. Whatever they took, I said, let them stay with whatever they took. I don't want...
And you know, whatever they took is what belongs to the children.
Yes.
But it's fine. God has his own way of providing.
Yes.
Because I'm sure in that time, you've not slept hungry.
Yes.
They've not gone to school. And they're doing okay.
They're doing very
so
well.
So if it's
And
the
they are
stuff
very
that
bright.
they wanted, it's fine. They can keep this
Yes,
stuff.
yes.
But you've got the most precious inheritance, which
Yes.
is those children.
Yes.
When we think about marriage, and it's not easy, I wonder, whether you consider and even imagine that you could ever get married again. Is it something you've thought about, or is it one of those things you've said, I've been there, I've done that?
I have, you know what they say, once bitten, twice shy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and most probably if I get someone who wants to marry me,
Yeah.
it's maybe someone who is a widow or who is separated, you know.
Yeah.
No young man can marry me at 40.
You're not looking for
with
a
children,
boy.
with 3 children.
No,
Yeah,
I mean,
so I said that one, no. Yeah, because what I've gone through,
Yeah.
it was not easy.
okay. Now, in knowing that you've shared about your experience, the thing about being human is it's not a unique and exclusive experience. There's somebody who's watching this channel and is going through suffering from the in-laws. What would you like to say to them?
One thing I've learned through all this, God will always give you what you can handle. So even if you're hated by your in-laws, God allowed that because you can handle that. Yeah, because I was asking God, why did you allow me to get married to Mutua and then he dies? You know, there's a time when he was in the ICU, I went and shook him, asking him, why are you sleeping? Wake up. Because now when they came to Mombasa, it was a hell. So I was telling him, why are you sleeping here when your in-laws are torturing me? I was asking God, where were you all these things are happening? I lost my husband, I am sick, I am kicked out. Where were you? Then a voice told me I am seated right where I was seated when my son was being crucified. Then it came to me, I realized that if God himself allowed Jesus to be tormented, to be tortured for no apparent reason, but just because of us, to die for our sins, he allowed this to me because he knew I can handle this very well. So I have just learned to let go of everything and to let God guide me. If it were not for God, I don't know if I will still be here. But God has really encouraged me, and I've really just learned about to pray, reading the Word of God, and just commanding what God has said in His Word, because that is what God wants us to do.
What an incredible journey, Irene, that you can still smile, that you have forgiveness in your heart. Truly, that is a miracle. That is something bigger than what we know. Do you make time to speak to women who are going through the same situation, or is it something that you've only just started talking about?
I've talked to a few people. Like in our church, we're doing captivating women. So in fact, we're in season 3. I'm in season 3 now. And you hear about issues and you thought that yours was something, and it's nothing. People are really going through hell. And when you share, there's a book with that captivating woman. That book is very encouraging for women. If anybody can just buy that book, Captivating Woman, that book tells you so much to let go and how to handle every situation that comes your way. Because God cannot, nothing takes God by chance, you know? Yeah, He's our maker.
Yes,
and
He knows it all.
He knew us before we were even created in our mother's womb, and He knows. Yeah, it has been tough, but God, if you just put your trust in God, He will never, never leave you nor forsake you.
Fantastic. I'm so glad we finally got to have this conversation. Thank you for making the time. And the doors to this show remain open to you. And we know God is going to bless you, and the kids, do let us know how things are going.
Thank you.
Tafadhali.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching this episode. If it means something to you, it's made you feel, think, and see things slightly differently or very differently, tell us about it. Drop us a comment. Remember to hit subscribe to this channel and click notifications so you never miss an episode when we upload. But we're going to sign off for now and look forward to catching up with you in our next episode. We've been at the Waterfront Karen, a world-class retail and lifestyle destination. If you're setting up shop, looking to expand your business, or are seeking a great experience out, this is the place to be. In all things that you do, live out loud.